In my experience, what you find at the beach really depends on two main factors. One, where you choose to look, and two, when you choose to go. Today, I've chosen to explore Keewaydin Island, pretty well known for its seashells, and I've had some pretty fantastic experiences here in the past. So hopefully today will be a repeat performance, but it's never a guarantee. Now, the second factor is when you go, and the when today is very early because I'm always chasing the low tide. So I will arrive on the island about 30 minutes before the low tide, and then I'll be here a few hours as the tide is coming in. It's a little brisk today, so I do have my boots on. For me, comfort means being warm, and that means I'm going to stay dry. So I do have some boots on so that I can warmly traverse the water and not freeze my buns off. This looks fantastic. This is why I come at low tide, because it exposes the beach. Ordinarily, this would be covered by water. Okay, the first treasure that's caught my eye is this beautiful, colorful moon snail, also known as a Gaudy Natica. I am a huge fan. I love those seashells, so I pick up pretty much all of them. I really like to inspect the colors. I see spots. And that is wonderful. That is a desirable alphabet cone. So that is one of the seashells I absolutely will be kind of laser focused on finding. Okay, and I will tell you what techniques I use to find these lovely shells. It does appear that, oh, neat. So it does appear that it's going to be a buried shell kind of day. Look at the coloring. So alphabet cones typically have little dotted pattern all over the shell. And look at the two white stripes. Oh, that is cool. So I will be pointing out any other kind of anomalies or really neat things to all the other seashells we'll find. So yes, we are going to find a couple of alphabet cones. That's probably not so much of a spoiler, but there's also going to be other seashells. So I'll pick up anything that I think is interesting. And I'm finally going to meet one of the sea creatures I've been dying to meet. And there are two shells that absolutely knock my socks off. I was so excited to find them. So if you're ready to see what all Keewaydin has out there for us today, let's go to the beach. All right, so we're here on Keewaydin. The tide, oh my gosh, it's a beautiful morning. So it's a beautiful morning. The tide is out. We're here on Keewaydin, and we're looking to see what all we're going to be able to find on this Florida beach today. Now, it changes every day, and even if I found lots of stuff today, that doesn't mean tomorrow you're still going to find that stuff. But we're just going to see what my luck is like today, and it looks like I'm getting really lucky with the cones, and to be fair, I am looking for them. So it's not like I'm just stumbling upon them. Oh, it's awesome. So this is an alphabet cone with its little alphabet markings, its little dottings. That's where it gets its name, alphabet. That's kind of got a neat row too. Not quite those two white lines. But, all right, something else kind of half buried here. This is a lightning whelk. Well, it's a chunk of a lightning whelk, yeah. So that is not a keeper. Let's see if there's anything else. And if you were looking for the big shells, I would recommend that you kind of go out into the water. It just really feels like, not always, but a lot of the time they're kind of out in the water buried, even at low tide. Actually, that's how I found my first one, snorkeling. It was under a lot of water. So they are rather elusive. All right, I'm not here by myself. There were a couple other people on the boat I was with. And there is a sandbar all the way out there, but I myself am not going to go out there. I'm wearing boots to keep my feet dry, so I'm just going to kind of stick to the mainland over here where I can keep my feet dry. That is a pear whelk. That is really beautiful too. It's really got nice coloring on it. All right, and here is a Murex. So it looks like it was in the water, kind of walked back over here. So a lovely apple murex. Oh, please be. Oh, yes. You never know, too, because the eye of the shark eye is the same size, regardless of the size of the shell. So I'll see a little eye poking out at me, and then you just never know. Oh, it's a good one. Oh, that's a really good one. So that is a shark eye moon snail. That is another one of the moon snails I find. Oh, it's beautiful. So the morning's starting out pretty dang good if you ask me. Now, I am kind of up against time though. So I only have so much time before the tide starts coming in. So I'm going to concentrate on the really desirable shells like the alphabet cones. Now, unfortunately, this one here is alive. We have a critter in there. So that is not anything you would want to keep. It's illegal. It's not nice. I can go on and on about the reasons that we don't take living stuff from the beach. So I'm just going to kind of tuck you. There you go. Just kind of tuck that little critter in and continue my hunt. Bucket list shell. So this is a rose murex, and now please be empty. Please be empty. I just blew in the aperture to kind of blow out any water. Make sure it's empty. Oh, it's so pretty. It's a little delicate thing. Oh, it's awesome with its little spikes on its tail. And that is empty. Oh, yay. So that is a rose murex. That is another very desirable shell. Okay, here's a lightning whelk. Here's a piece of a lightning whelk. Lightning whelks are very, very fine shells. I do like hunting them, but I prefer them to be completely intact. All right, here we have another cone, and let's talk about, sometimes there's anomalies with these cones. Now this cone, it's not a banded cone, but banded cones are extremely desirable. Do you see how this particular shell, it's kind of got like stripes versus those dotted alphabets or, letters? Yeah, so that's not a banded cone, but if you were to ever find a banded cone, hold on to that. They're very desirable. They're very rare, even compared to Genonias. So that is an alphabet cone that kind of has its tendencies of a banded cone. I felt like that one's going to be alive. Yeah, sometimes you can just kind of tell the way that they're buried or half buried. I don't know how else to say that. Sometimes I can just I get a feeling that it might be alive. Yeah, but that's okay. I've already got a couple of empty ones. Let's see if I can find any more empty ones or any other kind of delightful treasures that might be here. Yeah, me and a couple of my friends, we're here all doing the same thing, kind of kicking stuff around in the water, but there's plenty of seashells here to go around. Kind of protecting my cone zone here. Here is another one. So this one's empty. Another alphabet cone. And see how this one's a little bit orange? I don't know why. I tend to find ones that are more that brown color. So they can be like a yellow-orange with the alphabet's letters, or they could be more of a brown color. But that is another alphabet cone. And I do admit, since the tide is out very low right now, I'm going for like the really good stuff. The cones, rose murexes, I'm not going to really mess around with more common stuff right now, unless it's something that's really good. Oh, hello, beautiful. So we have another cone, perfectly safe to collect. It is empty, and it is beautiful. I see a Y, an S. Oh, that is awesome. All right, it looks like this apple murex got my attention. It is not an alphabet cone or a rose murex or a cabrit murex. I haven't found one of those either, but still very lovely, very angular with all its little textures. A lovely apple murex. Next, a tail. Okay, so that's a tail. And I don't know why they call it a tail, but we do. It's actually the front of the shell. So you look for that. You never know. It could be something good buried in there. And that's the kind of day I'm having. I'm having a buried kind of day. All right. So the low tide is in about 15 minutes. So I'm really kind of, like I said, I feel some pressure to kind of find the good stuff before it starts getting covered up by water again. All right. Here's an olive. They're hard to resist. A lettered olive. The jewels of the beach. So I'm looking for patterns, textures. It's likely not going to be sitting right on top because I am here with a lot of other shellers. So all the good stuff at this point is probably been picked through. So now you're going to need to kind of look for half buried things. The lips and the apertures of things, that is a Florida cone. And so days like this, it pays to have some experience because you do know what kind of pieces of shells look like, even if they're buried. Yep, look at that, just the tiniest little, so look for, not necessarily the shell. That's probably going to be empty because the sand was so kind of hard packed around it. So I knew that likely was not going to be a living creature. Well, let's take a look at this one. Oh, it's so pretty. See what I mean with the chocolate? Like it's more of a brown versus that yellow or orange. Oh, it's beautiful. What a wonderful morning for alphabet cones. And apple. Wait a minute. I'm going to pick up that apple Murex after. Look at that. That is a Tampa turrid. Oh, they're so cool. Unfortunately, it is also so occupied. So that is not a keeper. Got a little hermit crab in there. So a little hermit crab and a little Tampa turrid. That is going to stay here. I will turn my attention back to that apple Murex. There it is. Oh, that's lovely. What else we got here? Okay, there's something. Okay, there is a pear whelk inside of the ponderous arc. Let's wash these off. Let's really get a little bit better of a look at them. Oh, lovely. All right, pear whelk. Very nice. It's got a little beach stuff on it, but yep, that will do. Lovely pear whelk, lovely apple Murex. Oh, what do we have here? Oh, look, a colorful moon snail and a keeper too. All right, I see a bubble in there. Awesome. There's a colorful moon snail in addition to all the other treasures. Oh, I'm having a great time. Oh, I see spots. Now there's a good chance this is alive. Let's see. That's questionable. So that's why I'm going to kind of gently empty. Okay, so I don't want to, we call it like shaken baby syndrome if I can avoid it. Sometimes it happens. I kind of do that with a shell and the critter's still in there. But if I can avoid it, I do. So that's another beautiful alphabet cone. Oh, I am thrilled because after, the water's going to be coming in soon and I'm going to start turning my attention to other shells. I do have this rather large, okay, and a Murex. Okay, so this rather large lightning whelk and apple Murex. Apparently I'm just really kind of I'm not going too far from the water here, just kind of hanging out in the same area. So that's a nice looking, both of the shells, very nice, rich, dark colors. All right, so, oh, wait a minute. There is a button shell inside the lightning whelk. Let's grab that too. So those are lovely, lightning whelk. Oh, there's the button shell and the apple Murex. Cute little thing. Oh, more times than one I have dropped and just kind of lost shells because I was just kind of going things a little too quickly, but not this time. Oh, I see two. I see two things I want to check out. Well, and a third. I don't know if I will. That is a colorful moon snail. It's kind of light on the coloring, and it happens, but I always pick it up just because I need to know. I need to see it and check it out. Here is another moon snail. This is that quote-unquote regular shark eye. Okay. So we have a shark eye moon snail and a colorful moon snail. Awesome. Okay. This is coral. Now, you're not supposed to collect coral. And I think it's likely just the whole chain of custody thing. Like, we don't know where it came from. We don't want people going out to the coral reefs and breaking pieces off, which is apparently what divers used to do before we really knew better. So now the state of Florida says, don't collect it. Leave it. Because we don't know where you got it from. Just leave it. Hopefully that will change. But currently, those are the laws. And that is not an empty shell. Let's see if this one is. Yeah. Okay, so that is a Florida cone. Really nice looking Florida cone, too. A little fighting conch was full, but that's okay. I'll take this little cute orange shell. Right, sun's kind of coming up. All right, here is a bivalve. So that is a bay scallop. We do have a couple of scallops down here. Not a big variety, but that particular one happens to be a bay scallop. And a little horse conch, our state shell. A darling little thing. They will sometimes have that little white top on them, and the shell itself will range from a very light yellow all the way to like a really deep, rich orange. Another shark eye. Oh, but this one is a false shark eye. So if you look right about there, it's kind of scooped out. There's like an area that's missing, for lack of a better term. So that is a false shark eye. Does it matter? Absolutely not. It's just one of those things that interests me. Oh, yep. See the water kind of creeping in on the left corner there? Yeah, and yep. So low tide is done. The tide is coming back in at this point. So it's a good thing I snagged all those alphabet cones while I could. Would you look at the fighting conch? So now I'm going to turn my attention back to some other shells. This is one of my favorites. Actually, it is my favorite shell, the Florida fighting conch. And I'm going to hold on to that name, Florida fighting conch, because that's how I'm going to roll. There's so many of them too. Not all of them sing to me. What is that? Oh, a nutmeg. I know. I think I kind of missed. Did you see that white albino? Or it looked like an albino apple murex. Hopefully not. I was too distracted by that gorgeous nutmeg with all its beads and everything. It's so pretty. A good nutmeg. Now this one is very special because it's not empty. This is well, all right. I've picked one up and there was a hermit crab in it, so I couldn't keep it. This is the first time I'm finding one that is alive. I've never seen a living nutmeg. The body of the animal reminds me of either live lettered olive or a top snail. It's kind of like a tan, just goo. I can't see a head or any kind of like little antennas or anything. It just looks like tan goo in there, but no operculum. That was something I was just curious. Oh, it's so neat. So I was kind of walking around with it for a little while. Yep, it was pretty special. So I finally got to meet a live nutmeg. I can check that off the list of critters I got to meet. Well, that was really cool. Is it? Oh, look at this. So this is a colorful moon snail. I know it looks a little funky with the coloring. I do think it has some forams. So someone much smarter than me informed me that there's like practically microscopic like little animals that go out and make shells that are like red and pink, and when they die they can kind of color sand and sometimes other shells kind of a reddish or pink color. I think that's what's going on with that Gaudy Natica right there. So some people were brave. They're wearing shorts and they're in the water. I'm wearing pants, 2 layers of coats. I know it's 67 and all, but I do not like being cold, and I don't care if I look goofy. I really just want to be warm. Another alphabet cone. Ugh, yeah. Yeah, I had a feeling. So not a keeper. That's all right. And if we want to protect and enjoy this hobby forever and ever, it's good for us to be really good stewards of the environment and of the snails and everything else that goes on here. And I find that for the most case with most shellers, they really are awesome and ethical. I was hoping it was an albino. That is a fighting conch. Very light, not albino, but just really beautiful. Beautiful fighting conch. Yuck. The opposite of beautiful is garbage, and so I will be removing that off the island. Okay. Lightning whelk. You're just so swell. They're actually pretty common, even though they can find them like relatively big and beautiful, and they're kind of common, those lightning whelks. They're still very desirable, and I love finding them. So it is really shaping up to be an exciting morning and a beautiful day. Me and a bunch of other people who just love being out here. But I'm going to be quiet for a few minutes, and I'm going to let you all enjoy some beach time. Oh, this bright little splash of pink. This is a calico scallop, and I can almost, sometimes they have like a sunburst pattern on it. This one I feel like wants to have one. Yeah, it's very muted. You can barely see it. Oh, yeah. Another lettered olive. I have such a weakness for those shells. Probably because, I mean, I've never seen anything so shiny. Like, it is true when I say the jewels of the beach, like they're just so glittery and beautiful. Lettered olive. Now this fine shell, I believe this is a thick leucine. Kind of got that little dent over there. And the way that I can determine the thick leucine is on the reverse. It kind of has like bumps on it. So that's why I'm thinking that that shell right there is a thick leucine. Oh, there's another calico scallop. They're kind of a little more exciting than the thick leucine. If you ask me, the more, what's the word? Quintessential. So scallop is really a quintessential. Now that is a rough scallop. They're typically reddish, pinkish, and they have those little kind of like spots on the umbro there. So that little section of shell that kind of like pops up more than the rest of it. So that is a little rough scallop. And this is a turkey wing or a zigzag arc. It's a member of the arc family. Look at that hinge, super straight. Man, they're neat. I just like turkey wings. So that is a turkey wing. The apple murex. This one's very impressive in size. I mean, massive aperture. The opening of the seashell. Yep, that is a huge apple murex. And they will drill. The apple murex does drill into other shells, much like the shark eye. Can't exactly stop at the store, so they got to get a little creative if they're going to get a meal. Oh, it's alive. Let's take a look at the shell. Yeah, it's kind of pretty, goldenish. Oh, there was a repair at some point. So I say that because if the animal shell was broken, it can repair itself. Because the animal is what builds the shell material to begin with. So there is a little critter in there. I see little eyeballs. Easy to miss. Let's see, another critter. Oh, I do love, yeah. Look at that shell. The juvenile fighting conchs with the zigzags are so pretty. All right, what else is it? What else can we find on this Florida beach? Oh, I see spots. Oh, yeah, well, I did see spots. It's likely somebody else found that too. Yeah, we're just going to leave it. Somebody else will find that piece. Oh, wonderful. That will get my garbage total up there. So I take that garbage off and at the end of the video, weigh it just to kind of see my impact. Oh, you're lovely. Another one of those apple murex shells. And they will rate. They can sometimes be brown or like I guess blonde and brunette. Sometimes they're more of an orange yellow color. You're empty. I would say you're singing to me. Oh, you're like mustardy yellow color. And then it does have that like layer of periostracum on it. I will soak that in bleach and that outer layer will come off. I wish I could find something better than bleach, but it is my go-to. Wow, that is beautiful. So that is another calico scallop. Just that really delicate pink and stripes and oh, it's so pretty. Another jewel of the beach. Yep, just making sure there's nothing else there. I mean, how can you resist that? It's just shiny and pointy and gorgeous, and it's got all its letters, and oh, I love a good lettered olive. Now this shell, Calico Bay Rough, I really, I don't know what it is. It just looked like a bunch of shells all mismatched together. Still kind of cool. The fancy clam, a calico clam. Yep. Even the clams can be kind of fancy as a lovely calico clam. So it's strange to me, not strange, but I mean, I've been here a while. Many people have been here a while. And at this point, if I were to find anything like really, really good, I would be surprised. But it happens. Would you look at that flat? Now, I do think this is a round-ribbed flat. Down here in Southwest Florida, they are not very plentiful, so it's very desirable. Oh, and I feel like it's been years since I found one. Oh, I'm tickled. I'm shocked that I found it this late in the game on the island, but that just goes to show you, you never know what other people are looking for and how experienced they are. So even if there's a ton of people shelling, go look, go try your luck. You never know. The Lord knows I miss shells too, and I'm just kind of hoping somebody else finds it behind me. Now here's another jellyfish. I've been finding jellyfish on the beach, although this one I do believe is a sea nettle. I will not be touching that sea nettle. No touchy. If I don't know exactly what it is, I don't touch it because you just want to err on the side of not getting stung. Oh, a spiky jewel box. So not just a, so technically the name is spiny jewel box from obvious reasons. That one just happens to be very spiky. There's a little lightning whelk. There's a little one. A spiny jewel box, lightning whelk. Anything else kind of hanging out here? Oh, you're lovely. So that is another calico scallop. Oh, it's so pretty. So I love white shells. I will just pick up all sorts of white shells. So that is a horse conch. Yeah, just making extra sure, you know, hermit crabs kind of hiding in there. Don't want any hitchhikers. And today was definitely a half-buried shell kind of day. What are we looking at here? I think that's probably a calico, yeah. Another calico scallop. Lovely. So there's definitely still shells here, even though lots of people are kind of crawling around. This is a spotted slipper snail. Isn't that pretty? So another spotted shell. Not an alphabet comb, but still a lovely example of a seashell. And then this was, well, as you can see, it's not even a rack line. It's just a massive area of just tons of shells. So a lot of the stuff we were finding today was half buried. If you kind of know what shape to look for, you can kind of tease out other shells. Look at that. I was so happy that the whole shell, I thought that was maybe just going to be the tail. But that is a little horse conch. Let's rinse that off. Yeah. So that shell was really a trooper. Look at how many times it was broken and it managed to repair itself, because remember, the snail is what builds the shell. So if it breaks, it will just build more shell. But it's got a lot of breaks on it. Really remarkable. So that is a little horse conch. Awesome. Yeah, there's, I pick up a lot of white shells. So that is a calico scallop. Beautiful. There's another quintessential white seashell. Now this is also a calico scallop. I love these. So some of them have that kind of like burst pattern. Sometimes it'll be white on like a pink shell. I'm rather partial to these that have like the orange burst on them. Lovely. Now, would you please help me appreciate this rough scallop? You can literally see the texture on the shell. That's why it gets its name. It's rough scallop, but it's black. Not gray, black. I've never seen a shell. This is my new most favorite black shell. I think maybe my most favorite scallop. Oh, it's exquisite. Now let's compare it. So that's dark. It's grayish, but when you compare it, yeah, I mean, that rough scallop is black. The other one's like a bluish gray. Oh, it's so pretty. And of course, right as I'm leaving, you know, well, my time is here, my ride is here. Oh, I had so much fun. How did I get here? Well, today I toured with Hemingway Water Shuttle. You book your ride out there, you book your ride back. Now, I went out very, very early. Sometimes they add an early boat. Just book when you want to go. If they add an earlier boat, they will reach out to you and let you know. And as I'm leaving, all right, it's 72. I'm still glad that I had my boots. Could probably have went either way, but I was still happy I was warm. So garbage, I did pretty good. I removed 1 pound, 6.45 ounces of garbage from the beach today, which means in total, I've removed a little over 70 pounds of garbage from our beaches in Southwest Florida. I also today removed a couple of seashells. So there were a couple of bay scallops. There was a hinged sunray Venus clam, a giant Atlantic cockle. There's some olives, some Florida fighting conchs, lightning whelks. There's nutmegs on the bottom there, a button shell, colorful moon snails. Above that, shark eyes. We have some apple murex, then some calico scallops. There was one banded tulip, I see some horse conchs on the left, pear whelks on the right, and there was a broad rib cardita, a jingle, calico clams, yep, 2 calico clams, 4 cones up there, that thick lucine, the rough scallop, spotted slipper snail, turkey wing. There was a whole bunch of alphabet cones. I was looking for them. I got lucky. Yay! But my favorites were the shark eye, that gaudy, the rose murex, the flat, that rough scallop. Oh, it's so beautiful. I had so much fun. It was so nice to be out there. The crazy thing is, though, I could go the next day and find like nothing. So it is what it is. Just make sure if you're going to go out, try to find a good place and a good time. Patreons, you are responsible for allowing me to go do things like this and share these types of videos with everybody else. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for supporting me and allowing me to go out and do fun things like this. I absolutely love it and could not do it without you. Next week, we're going to 2 islands. We're going to go to Dickman's and we're going to go to Kais. So wherever you're watching from, I hope you're safe. I hope you're warm. I hope you're shoveled out. And I will see you again next Sunday.